Good morning, folks. This is your Droned 'em Good ticker guy update for the 3rd. Yeah, we did. We droned them good, didn't we? Let me dispense with a couple of things right up front. First, and maybe most important one, is all of the crazies running around screaming, including people on the Republican side, hello, Rand Paul, that what the president did was, oh my God, this is a terrible thing. We have to blah, 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 blah. You know, Congress has to declare war. Excuse me. We didn't declare war last night. We took out a leader of a designated foreign terrorist organization, which is an act that the Congress, through its exclusive power to declare war, granted to the President of the United States quite some long time ago. And therefore, all of the screaming from people on the left and a couple on the right who have said that, oh my God, you can't do this without going to Congress first. Bullshit. You do not have to go to anybody first. You already gave him the authority to do this, period. Now, are there, under various congressional resolutions, requirements that he go back and tell you he did? Yeah, and, well, you already got what he did. He sent out a public press release, Mr. Trump did, yesterday, saying, yep, that was us. We did it. We blew him up. Have a nice day. Bye. If you do not like the idea of the President of the United States going after the leaders of foreign terrorist organizations, then revoke his authority to do it. And until you do, shut the F up. Number 2, does everybody now understand why Mexico and a bunch of people in the United States have their hair on fire about the threat that the Trump administration leveled to designate Mexican drug gangs as foreign terrorist organizations? Well, if you don't understand it after yesterday, then you really are quite stupid. Secondly, if anyone thinks that that would not put the fear of God into those Mexican drug organizations, you're very wrong, because as soon as they're designated, then we could drone them in Mexico. Now, this is why Obrador is all pissed off about the idea and screaming about it, because he's yelling and hollering about sovereignty. Well, guess what? Terrorist organizations, by their definition, don't obey national boundaries. So if Obrador doesn't like this, then he ought to stomp on those things and stop them now. No more kisses. Let's have some stick. But no, that would be so mean. We can't do that. We can't, oh my God, we have Mexican police officers that are involved with the drug. You want to stop the drug gangs and the human trafficking gangs in Mexico. The way you do it is by designate them as foreign terrorist organizations. And if Obrador doesn't like it, that's tough crap. We ought to have done it immediately, and we still should. And frankly, I give Trump credit for having enough of a sack to take this Iranian asshole out. But he ought to sack up and tell Mexico, tough shit, make the designation. Congress doesn't like it. Let them either revoke his authority to go after those guys, which they won't do, or then let Mexico do something about the problem. Hello. Maybe they'd like to go get rid of those guys first. That's fine, as long as they do it. Okay. Now let's go down to the list of the crazy stuff that I heard. Chris Murphy, senator from Connecticut, a couple of days ago, no one fears us in the Middle East because of Trump. This was when everyone on the left was running around screaming, claiming that the embassy / consulate / whatever that is over there in Iraq was being attacked, and that was going to turn into our Benghazi, and it was going to get hung around Trump's neck like Benghazi. Hey, Chris, how'd that work out for us? And how'd that work out for you? How'd that tweet age? Did that age real well? Do you think they don't fear America as of today? Yeah, okay. Washington Post deleted a headline and changed it, calling the dead jackass a revered military leader. This is a press organization that, for all intents and purposes, is a foreign terrorist organization. If you give comfort and aid to a declared enemy of the United States, which it appears that WAPO has done and is doing. By the way, this is not the first time they've done something like this. Remember Baghdadi? Okay. When do we designate the Washington Post as a domestic terrorist organization? That should be about 15 minutes from now. All right. The escalation potential. We're going to spend a lot of time on that. But let's do Biden first. Biden tossed dynamite into a tinderbox, he claims Trump did. Well, first off, if I'm going to have a problem with a tinderbox, if I throw a match in there, it would light it on fire. If I throw dynamite into it, it blows all the wood out of the tinderbox and it's not there anymore. That seems to be what we did, right? So maybe tossing dynamite into a tinderbox isn't such a bad idea. It's a whole lot easier to put out a couple of little fires than it is to put out a great big raging bonfire. Yeah. Hey, Joe, aren't you supposed to be diddling little girls or little boys or just being a creep? Or by the way, I have a question. Did you or your son get anything out of all that cold hard cash that Obama sent over to Iran? Why would I not be shocked if it was eventually developed that somehow some of that money found its way back into your son's pocket? Not accusing you because I don't have any evidence to back that up, but there's a pattern here. Gotta wonder. Okay. And finally, this morning, Iraq's parliament says they're going to kick us out, supposedly. Please do. You might want to note that in the aftermath of this drone attack, the Iraqis were actually running parades in the streets with their own flag, celebrating the fact that we killed this SOB. Seems to me they're not all that upset that we did it. And in fact, we had all these people telling us when we first went into Iraq that there was going to be a rose parade, much like there was when France was liberated and otherwise during World War II. Of course, that didn't happen. What we got instead was a bunch of roadside bombs. Okay. Looks like we got the parade just a little late, except they're not, this is not a we love the USA thing. This is a nationalist display. That's exactly what you want, folks. You want Iraq to be nationalists because you know what? They're a nation. Hello, good morning. All right. Now, let's go next to two other things. And then I'll leave you with this because I don't want it to take, half an hour. First one, scope and reach. This was an exquisite operation, folks. Think about this. We got 3 cocksuckers at once, without question, inside the law domestically with regards to what Congress had already authorized. So there's none of this screaming about the War Powers Act because that's just not a factor. Collateral damage was essentially zero. The other people who got waxed that were in the cars were all associates of the 3 jackasses. By the way, one of them was the Lebanese Hezbollah leader. That's a terrorist organization too. So we got 3 of these guys, and then we arrested this dude. Apparently, our Marines arrested him inside Iraq. That was the nice jackwad that Obama invited to the White House when he was president and who led the assault on our embassy. We should go arrest Obama for treason. But, yeah, I know. We don't have any nuts in this country, in the United States people to demand that happen, but we damn well should. But again, collateral damage, including civilians and material, things around the airport and in the airport, basically zero. All right, now remember, this SOB has killed roughly 600 Americans directly over the last 8 or 10 years and is responsible for thousands of injuries. He was one of the primary antagonists during the time that we've been involved over there with regards to IEDs and things like this, and his reach is not just within Iran by any stretch of the imagination. In fact, he's all over the Middle East causing problems. So that we actually got him, if you want to get down to the harm he's done to Americans in terms of getting this guy, this is a better get than al-Baghdadi by a substantial amount. And, I get it. Baghdadi blew himself up rather than be captured. Well, you know what? This was a pinpoint precision hit. We got 3 bad guys, 2 of whom, without question, were on a foreign terrorist organization head list. So therefore, they're legitimate targets. The third one, he's collateral damage, but he just was involved in the same sort of BS. Okay, so whether you're a declared leader or not, I don't know that's now we're talking about fine points. All right, the amount of collateral damage to the airport and other things around there is essentially zero, and the civilian casualties, as far as we can tell, zero too. What's not to like here? All right, seriously, guys, what's not to like? If you declare yourself a terrorist organization by your actions and you get designated that through a formal process in the United States, you're the head of a foreign terrorist organization, you get waxed, I am not going to cry. And I'm also not going to say, well, we ought to show restraint. No, we shouldn't show restraint. If we get an opportunity to get the head of a foreign terrorist organization, we take it. And we did. Thank you very much. I do not like President Trump. You guys all know this. But, the man's got something a little bit larger than a small little diaper safety pin in his pants. And, that's for his penis. And it appears that there's actually a pair of nuts to go with him, unlike Barry. All right. Finally, last point. Escalation potential. Everybody has their hair on fire about this. Oh my God, you're going to start a general war over there. They have to retaliate. Blah, 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 blah. Excuse me? What escalation potential? Iran has been running a proxy war over in that part of the world now for, a decade? Maybe more? Obama tried to placate him with billions of dollars worth of money. That didn't do anything. We had a whole bunch of our people got killed, both before and after. We've accomplished exactly zero in terms of turning the temperature down over there. May I ask exactly what escalation they're going to attempt? Could they step up their so-called proxy war thing and maybe they try to blow up Saudi oil fields or whatever? Who cares? Quite frankly, we don't care. From the standpoint of our dependence on Saudi oil, it's non-existent. Let the Saudis fight their own battles. And by the way, if they piss off Saudi Arabia enough that the Saudis decide to go and start a real war over there, bully for them. What else are they going to do? Go into Israel? Yeah, okay. We'll see how well that works out for them. In terms of direct assault or attack on American infrastructure, American people, they've been doing that crap through their little proxies forever. Does anybody really think that they're going to be any more effective today or tomorrow than they were yesterday? No. Could they try to sink we have a carrier group in the Gulf of Oman right now. Could they try to sink the carrier and or some of its other ships? Well, yes, they have thousands upon thousands of unguided rockets and a decent number of highly precise munitions, precision-guided weapons. Could they use them? Yeah, they could, and they might actually score a hit there, but the risk if they were to do it would be a totally different story. Now, frankly, I don't see any realistic possibility of them doing that, but it could very easily be suicide if they were, because quite frankly, if such an action was to take place, you got to remember, Iran right now is enjoying the EU more or less leaving them alone on this nuclear deal, and even though the U.S. pulled out of it. And therefore, they have some tension here between Western nations. They do something crap-headed like that, and the most likely event is that they roll over all of the other Western nations in the world against them, and maybe even the Chinese and the Russians, at which point really bad things happen over there in Iran. So I don't see the probability being substantial. Do I think that they're going to try something? Well, of course, duh. That's why we have intelligence services. That's why, we do this kind of thing. But let's face it, folks. This was a pinpoint strike to decapitate a foreign terrorist organization. That's what we did. All right. It was fully authorized within the boundaries of existing United States military authorities granted by Congress. So there is no question this was not a rogue operation by the President of the United States. It was exquisitely executed. It brought essentially zero collateral damage. And show me Show me an operation over the last 30 years, ladies and gentlemen. I challenge you to do this in the comments. Over the last 30 years, just show me one operation of this general character that the United States has carried out over the last 30 years that has been this well executed, has come with this little collateral damage, and yet has this good of a get list. Just go ahead and try. And oh, by the way, how many Americans were put in danger getting this guy? Less than when we went into Baghdadi, right? Because we didn't have to send troops in. We got him with a drone from the air. So, all of you scolds, listen, I get it. Half the country hates Trump. I don't like Trump. I didn't vote for him. But you have to give credit to somebody when they do a good thing. This was, without question, a straight-up fantastic operation on all levels, period. It has nothing to do with trying to assassinate military leaders. This guy was the head of a foreign terrorist organization. And for us to take him out after he had demonstrated not only his intent but his actions in conducting terrorism, sorry, folks, he gets points for this. I don't like Trump, as I've said many times, including on this podcast, but I have to give the man a handshake for this, whether I want to or not. I'm your ticker guy, and that's how it is.